What is up, YouTube? We are back again. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt. Yes, I'm getting this work done because that's what you do. Sometimes you just got to get it done. If you know yourself and you know how you work, you gotta go with the flow of it. So I want to go ahead and record some, just kind of multiple videos because I had some things on my mind. Today, I wanted to talk about oh man. I'm probably gonna get some name calls about this, but I do want to talk about our women because I've been watching. I don't know if any of y'all seen it, but it's called Tonight's Conversation or Today's Conversation. I want to say Tonight's Conversation, and I'm speaking from the male perspective because I'm a man, and I can't really talk on the female's perspective other than like the general stuff because I do get where women are coming from, but at the same time I got to give my take because I personally feel like men aren't really allowed to say much without being criticized versus a woman who can say what she wants to say, which of course she can get backlash. There is a limit to everything. You can say something too wild as a woman and where even men and women will come together and be like, that's stupid. But I feel like women get a little more leeway to say what they want versus a man. And what I want to talk about today is double standards. Everybody knows they exist. Everybody uses them to their advantage, but at the same time, I hate that we, and of course I'm talking about black people because this is where I'm at, but I want to have the conversation. This primarily about black people, but this is about everybody because everybody does this. This isn't just a black only thing. This is just, I'm going to say women in general. I hate that there's such a double standard that gives women the right to make mistakes and cheat, but then the same thing it's not the same for a man. And am I wrong for thinking that? Please tell me what y'all think in the comments. I don't know how the structure is going to be for these videos, whether I'll pose my question, then state my opinion, or just state my opinion and then do my reasoning behind it. Either way, I'll probably just switch it up. But I say this is because there's so many double standards that I see, and it's just like people just completely ignore it, both men and women. But as I said, I'm focusing on the women today. I'll talk about men on another video. So it pisses me off to no end to hear that you could say as a woman that I hate the word all because it's all encompassing. If I said all women, all black people, all white people, all Spanish people, all Latino people, it's all encompassing. That means you're saying everybody in this community does this. I hate that women do this. I know hate is a strong word, but I hate it because it's universally tends to be allowed. You know what I mean? Where they could be like, pretty sure you can say that. I hate that they be like, niggas ain't shit. Yeah, they all do this. They all cheat. They're all dogs. If they do this, then you gotta do this. I'm just like, bro, why is it always all? And it's not even all dudes, but I truly do feel like, I'm about to start yapping and ranting. I do feel like a lot of women do mess with the same guy. I really do. I feel like there is a stereotype in our community and just women in general that they have a preference for certain guys, and then they tend to all flock to that guy. That guy knows he has options, and so he will use, abuse, and cast aside these women and run through them. And then all of a sudden, whatever their problem they had with him is a problem with everybody. And I can't stand it. Now, of course, there's always caveats where there are dudes who pretend to want to be in a relationship. There's dudes who will say anything to get in a woman's pants. There's dudes who will take advantage of women without being in the top percentage or whatever. But I do truly feel like women tend to have a preference that targets a small select group of guys. And those guys know who they are. They will tell you that there is a preference for them, and they have no reason to settle down with one person when they can have everybody. You know what I mean? Who goes to a buffet and only eats one thing? If everything is being offered to you, why would you not try one thing? Everybody does this. If everybody had the option to do whatever, they wouldn't just do one thing. They would do whatever. You know what I mean? That's a kind of vague description, but that's honestly how I feel about it. And it annoys me that there's this double standard of, like I said, if men do something, they did it because they're dogs. But if a woman does something, she did it because the man did something. And I hate that. That does nothing but piss me off. Because I think on tonight's conversation, they were talking about cheating. And it's always women are always given the benefit of the doubt on what happens in a relationship. It's always, well, if I stepped out, it's because this man wasn't doing enough. If, this man's not making enough money, he's not providing, he's not protecting, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. There's always a reason and there's an out for a woman to do something that normally if a guy was to sit here and cheat, he'd be looked at as a dog. He is the worst person in the world. Everybody should boo him. But at the same time, his female counterpart is, well, what did that man not do? Why was he not doing this? Why couldn't he do better? And it's just like, it blows my mind of the obvious double standard that people just willing to accept. And of course I understand why they're willing to accept it. It's because it's a benefit for you. You know what I mean? If you could never get in trouble, right? Let's say you have a friend. That friend always, if they do something, they always get caught. If you do something, you never get caught. You're telling me you would never take advantage of that? You would never take advantage of that. Never. Like, just being human, maybe there is some people out there who wouldn't, but if you can get away even with the little stuff, most people would probably do it. Especially because it's to your own benefit. You know what I mean? So why would you sit here and try to hold yourself to a standard that nobody else is holding you to? What else? Because I know the cheating is definitely one. Because I constantly hear, if a woman does something, it's for a reason. It's because you weren't doing enough as a man. It's because she was going through something emotionally and her emotions caused this to happen. It's because any kind of outside factor it's always something else. It's never really her. Unless it's like, of course, something outrageous. But even then, cheating is an outrageous thing. I hate the double standard of women hating that men approach them, but then want men to approach them. And when I say it as a double standard is where, would I call that a double standard? I'm gonna have to make sure I look up the double meaning of the double standard. Where it's one side does something. God, no, hold on, I'm gonna have to. Give me a second. Boom, okay, had to go. Take a little definition. Well, one side is treated more harshly in a same situation than another one. So for me, I hate that people want to find their match, right? They want to find somebody that they can spend their life with, that they can spend time with, that they'll be happy with. Why is it that it's placed on men? Not even why is that? No, I'll take that back. I won't say it that way. I hate the double standard that women can sit here and judge you for not talking and approaching women, but then at the same time will put you through the ringer for approaching them. I hate, and that's not even the double standard part. The double standard part is that they wouldn't even do it. They have all the excuses why they wouldn't approach a man or say anything to a man, but then you're not a man for not approaching them. And it's like, it's a simple double standard of you need to be doing this, but if it comes down to me having to do it, I wouldn't do it and I shouldn't have to do it. And I hate that. Not saying that I want to sit here and be treated like a princess, because that's always the main insult. Oh, you want the women to do everything. You want this, that. But it's like, if we both want something as humans and it would be beneficial, why would we both not do it? And I'm not saying that you would even have to come up to a man, but there's things that you can do as a woman to show interest in a man. Because if we can do everything else, we can all go get jobs to go make money. We can all go to school. We can all go get insurance. We can all go buy cars. We can literally do virtually everything else pretty much the same. That man or woman is gender neutral. Why is this one thing such a big issue? And I hate when people always want to tell you to do something, but they don't have the courage to do it themselves. That annoys me. And because it annoys me because it's not the fact that I have to do it. I don't mind doing it as a man, but it's that you don't understand what it takes to do certain things. That's like if I, as just a regular person who just works in sales, went up to a mechanic and then just completely just shit on him about his job because he doesn't know how to do his job. And I know nothing about how to do your job, but I want to sit here and tell you how to do your job, but never having done it before. Like, does that make sense? Like, do you see how it's kind of stupid? And the second part of that double standard is that if a man was to sit here and to tell a woman how to be a woman, because that is a big thing I've noticed in women and men discussions, is that women be so ready to tell a man how to be a man, but if you tell a woman how to be a woman, you are sexist. You're sexist. Like, it's just like, bro, it's so mind-blowing that we live that no one sees, no one else, I mean, people do see it, but it's just the majority don't see this double standards because it's to your benefit. I've always never understood, I can't say I don't understand it, but I always didn't like hearing women try to tell me to be a man and they've never been a man. Like, what I need to do as a man, how I need to handle things. But it's like, bro, if I sat here and told you what you need to do as a woman, you will be looking at me so crazy and have so many choice words for me, but it's perfectly fine for you to do it. I can't stand it. I literally can't. Like, it's just okay. Like, and people just treat it like, yeah, this is perfectly normal. She should have whatever opinion about being a man that she wants to. And it's always the first thing to tell you to. It's just like, bro, I don't sit here and try to tell you to be a woman. I don't. Me personally. Now, there's other guys who will, but it's just like, I've never been a woman. I can't really tell you how to do that. I can say the general stuff of, like, you know, be good emotional support, but I can also do the same thing. So it's like a lot of roles, just being a good person and being a good partner. And then depending on the dynamic of the relationship, if you want a general, like traditional, then, you know, if you cook, I'll go to work. And if we decide that you want to stay at home, then I'll pay all the bills. Vice versa, I'll be provider, you be homemaker. You know, however you want to run your family, because that's your decision. We all make decisions here. But I hate that if you tell me I need to make more money as a man, but I sit here and tell you need to cook more dishes as a woman, I'm the problem. Like, how does that work? How do you tell me what I'm supposed to be doing for my gender, but then I can't tell you anything? And I'm trying to see if there's another one that annoys the heck out of me. I hate that it's seen as a joke. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Some of the things that women do are seen as a joke, and it's not a joke. The emotional state, I get that women have periods. I get that they can be emotional at times. But some of the stuff that are just done and so widely accepted, like, oh, she's just a girl, that's not okay. That is not okay, because if a man was to do it, it'd be an issue. I'm just going to name off a couple things. Women feeling okay to hit a man. Hate it. Why would you feel okay doing that? You say that we're stronger. You say that we can't do anything, but why would you feel okay doing it? I've never seen a dude bigger than me and it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just go put my hands on him just because. And like, could you imagine that? Could you imagine like what people would call me if, sorry, my nose is itching. I walked up to a big dude, right? And I slap him and he beats the heck out of me. And I was just like, bro, and I go and complain, like, bro, why would y'all let him do this? He's bigger than me. Someone should have stepped in. Like, that's not fair because I'm smaller. How would that look on me versus if a woman who most likely is going to be smaller than the dude puts her hands on her and he beats her up and she's like, well, I'm weaker. He shouldn't be putting his hands on a woman. No way. Like, bro, where is the accountability? Because that is a double standard. Where is the understanding that you can say whatever you want to a man, but if a man says something to you, he's abusive? That you can be crazy. People see like crazy as cute. That's not cute, because if a dude was to do some of the things that women would do, like the amount of I understand that like this uses a joke, but the emotional states and fluctuations that you can go through is truly concerning whenever I see like, if you get hungry and you truly like are disrespectful, you're rude, you're mean, and that's perfectly fine. But if a man was to get hungry and literally start cussing, being rude to you, mean to you, it's an issue. But if she does it, she's just being a woman. Like, bro, does nobody see issue with this? Because imagine dudes doing the same thing that you do, and if you would be okay with that. Like, just please answer that. Answer that question for me. This is kind of a rant, but like, and it's not to say all women do this, but this is the things I've seen, just to be honest with you, just as a male. You know what I mean? Because there's problem with the guy side too. There's double standards with the guys, and which I'll get into another video. But right now I'm just focusing on this topic because I've seen it so much, and there's no leeway for men. Honestly, it's always just chalked up to he's a dog. He's, there's no emotional stability. He's, this, that, and the third. And it's just like, bro, why do you get all the leeway? And yet, if I do something, I got to get hit 10 times harder. Just like prison sentences. A woman could do the exact same crime as a man, and she will get a lighter sentence than the man. Make that make sense. Please make that make sense. How do we both do the same thing, but then I get judged harsher because I'm a guy, and you get judged lighter because you're a woman? Like, where's the actual fairness? Everybody talks about equality and fairness, but then no one wants to actually deal with the harshness of the fairness. Like, I don't know. Somebody please tell me if I'm wrong. I'd love to talk about it and see what other people think. But these are my experience as a man in these communities, having to deal with certain things where it's just like, bro, and dealing with the double standards being so blatant that somebody can say it and then literally have like no issue about it. And it genuinely like puzzles me, because I've had people, women that feel like they can try to put their hands on me, to talk to me in kind of way in public and say something crazy, to, being able to do stuff and people still side with them because they're women, to, just the different scenarios where you're just like, bro, like, what is this? Like, what? And you can't really even complain about it because it's seen as whining, you being a sissy, why you want to be a woman so bad? Why do you want to be treated like a woman? It's just like, bro, you can't do anything as a man without being chastised about it. And nobody really can even say nothing about it because the women themselves will be the ones chastising you. And men will chastise you too, which is another annoying thing. But just like, bro, this is an actual issue. That if we can actually solve some of the stuff behind us, it'd be a lot easier to be in this dating culture. And, okay, I'm about to get into the second topic because I think I ran over it. I think I was saying before, it pisses me off because if we could actually get a chance to understand each other, I feel like things would be a lot different. You know what I mean? If I can understand what it's like to be a woman and you can understand what it's like to be a man, we can come together on a lot of things and actually talk some things out and have better understanding for us. But I feel like, personally, as a man, you're taught a lot about what it's like to be a woman, but no one tells a woman what it's like to be a man. And so they just come out with these assumptions and just assume that everything's easier for you. And a crazy thing, one thing I always hear about women from women, if you ask a woman, what would she do as a man? Someone will say that, oh yeah, they'll go around sleeping with everybody. They don't understand how hard it can be to find a woman to sleep with. They don't understand. No completely clue. They really think that you could just go out here and wave your meat around and then a girl gonna come running. No, that is not true. The stereotypes and the ideas, just because it's easy for a woman to do that, does not mean a man can do that. Now, there are situations you can pay for a woman of the night, and there are some easy layups out there, but you would have to go find, approach, and really put yourself out there as a man, especially if you're not a man who is in the most wanted category. You know what I mean? So the belief that women have of men be so wrong sometimes is crazy. It literally is. Like, the fact that they really be thinking that we just out here getting it all the time, that, and some women are really surprised that a man's dating profile matches are different from theirs. They really be surprised by that they have 100 matches and they look at a man's 20, if he gets to 20. If he's decent looking enough are actually on the better looking side that he's at 20, they'll really be surprised. It's like, bro, who teaches y'all? I guess there's no real teacher of men, and there's no one who holds them to it. Because I know when I'm younger, it's always been drilled into me as a guy how to treat a woman, what they go through, the hardships of being a woman, from the cramps and periods to being constantly ogled and chased by men to, maybe treated differently in different situations, this, that, and the third. But I don't think there's ever been a time where I've seen or heard women have taught about being a man, on how the pressures of being a producer, especially with a economy that's constantly getting worse, pressures to perform and be masculine while also being chastised for being masculine. And when I say that, where you're told to approach women, to be aggressive, to, even in the confusing parts of like dating, where women will tell you they want to be chased, but they have to be chased by the right guy, and don't understand what that means, because to them, the right guy is someone that's handsome, is someone who, fits their standards. How is somebody who is not you supposed to know who fits your standards? Like, I hate on dating profiles when I see a woman's profile that says, ugly dudes, please don't talk to me. How is a dude supposed to know he's ugly to you? Because no one is, that person is not you. Everybody has a preference, and sometimes their preference is not what you expect from that person to actually like. And you never know what you like until you start meeting or you run into it. And I'm just like, no one teaches you what it's like to be a man, how long it takes to make a lot of money as a man, to the pressures that we deal with, the things that we had to go through. And I feel like if we were able to do that same thing to where we both got taught about each other, things would be a lot easier, because I feel like there would be more leeway when it comes to approaching women. Because I know there's women who complain about us approaching them. You got to understand that talking to somebody is a skill. When you first start something, you're not going to be great at it. So yes, you can come off weird, you can come off creepy. Some people are generally weird and creepy and have creepy intentions. But for the general population, it's gonna suck when you approach women, because if you've never done it before, what do you think is gonna happen? If you never driven a car, you're not gonna go out there on the road and be perfect at it. If you never drawn before, you're not gonna go out there and draw, be a Picasso. You gotta learn how to do it first. So yes, your first few attempts are going to be probably terrible attempts, unless you just have like a natural talent. But again, you still have to get and hone it. You gotta understand, you might be one of those women who get the bad attempt. But if you sit here and you chastise guys for approaching you and tell people, I don't want to be approached at the market, I don't want to be approached out at the club because I'm with my friends, I don't want to be approached here, I don't want to be approached here, when do you expect somebody to approach you? Please, when do you expect that to happen? How is somebody supposed to know when to approach you? Is there like a signal? Are you wearing a sign? How does that work? Like, if you understood what it was like to be a guy and have to be in those situations, because it's hard for you to judge a situation or what somebody's going through if you've never done it before. If you never approached somebody, I don't want to hear your advice on how to approach somebody. Women, it'd be funny, because if you ask for a woman's advice on how to approach and you go and implement it, it's terrible. It does not work. It'd be funny because women don't know how to approach women, and I only say that because women automatically get the trust that a man wouldn't. You know what I mean? And I'll explain it like this. If a woman sees another woman, I don't think her guard is going to be as high as if a man comes and approaches her, because she probably thinks and knows that the man may be looking for something or trying to get her number, and it could be a weird encounter. Versus if it's another woman, most likely she's probably not going to be trying to get your number. She may just want to be friends with you, or she may be there to actually compliment you. There's a difference. So the way you approach something that you already have trust of versus me, who approach somebody who already distrusts me because she's had different experiences with men, is gonna be different. You wouldn't know until you lived in my body. That's why I don't try not to speak on women experiences and tell them how to do stuff because I've never been a woman. I can only talk to how things generally a man would do. You know what I mean? But I can go on forever about this, but yeah, just like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Fuck it, you just like, I probably shouldn't say that, but if you like the content, just keep listening. I appreciate y'all, and then we'll be back for the next one. So just a rant, and we'll do mid next. Peace.